Hare Krishna, everyone. So glad we can dive into this together. Today, we're exploring the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is all about transcendental knowledge. This is where Lord Krishna really starts to unpack the origin, the nature, and most importantly, how we can actually get this sublime wisdom that has the power to free us all. So, let's get right into it.
Right off the bat, Krishna makes this incredible statement. He's basically setting the stage, letting us know that what he's about to share isn't just another piece of information. No, this is a truly transformational realization. It's often described as the mature fruit of all mysticism. It's the one thing that can grant us that ultimate freedom from this cycle of birth and death. Okay, so to help us wrap our heads around all the amazing themes in this chapter, we're going to use a simple little framework, EARS. It's a handy acronym that will guide us through the four essential parts of transcendental knowledge that Krishna explains. Its eternal origin, the need for accurate understanding, its power to literally remove our karmic reactions, and the proper mood of sacrifice we need to actually receive it. So, let's start with E for eternal education. The very first thing Krishna establishes is that this knowledge isn't some new philosophy he just cooked up. You know how ideas and philosophies change over time? Well, this isn't like that. This is an eternal science, a timeless instruction manual for life itself.
And this timeline, wow, it really shows you just how divine and ancient this knowledge is. The Gita explains that it was first spoken over 120 times million years ago, and it was passed down through this sacred chain of teachers, the parampara system, to keep it pure and unadulterated. But as you can see, over such a long time, that chain eventually got broken. And that's exactly why this moment with Arjuna is so critical. Krishna is right there, reestablishing this perfect eternal system by speaking it directly to him and now to all of us.
Next up, A stands for accurate understanding. And this is so important because this knowledge comes straight from the Supreme Source. It acts like a razor-sharp sword, just cutting through all the fog and confusion that clouds our spiritual vision. So now, Krishna is going to address some of the biggest spiritual misconceptions head-on. And this table just brilliantly lays out the precision of the Gita. Krishna tackles three major philosophical hurdles that people still get stuck on today. First, this idea that all paths are the same. He clarifies that, while everyone is on his path, he reciprocates based on their surrender, which means there are definitely different levels of realization. Second, the whole polytheism confusion. He confirms the monotheistic truth. He is the one supreme Lord, the ultimate beneficiary of everything. And third, he explains that the original social system, the Varna-ashrama system, was designed based on a person's actual qualities and their work, not the rigid by-birth system it unfortunately became.
All right, now we get to R for removing reactions, and this is where the knowledge gets incredibly practical for our day-to-day lives. Lord Krishna reveals how this wisdom can literally clear out our entire karmic bank balance, It frees us from the endless reactions, both good and bad, that keep us tied to this material world. So what's the secret? It's this amazing principle of akarma. See, ordinary action, or karma, always produces a result that we get tangled up in. Then there's forbidden action, vikarma, which just leads to suffering. But akarma, that's totally different. That's action done purely for the satisfaction of Krishna, with zero desire for our own personal gain. A perfect example is when we offer our food and make prasadam. The simple act of cooking, which is normally karmic, becomes completely transcendental when we do it as a loving offering to Krishna. It produces no material reaction and actually helps us achieve liberation.
Lord Krishna gives this absolutely stunning metaphor. He says that the fire of true spiritual knowledge, that deep realization that I am Krishna's eternal servant and everything I do is for him, is so powerful that it completely incinerates all our past karma. Just like a raging fire turns a pile of firewood into nothing but ash. It's just gone.
And finally, we arrive at S for sacrifice and submission. And honestly, this might be the most important step of all. How do we actually get this knowledge? Krishna explains that unlike material education, which really depends on our intellect, spiritual knowledge depends on our character. And that character gets purified through what he calls sacrifice, or yajna. In verse 4.34, Krishna gives the exact method, the formula. He says first, we have to approach a bona fide spiritual master, one who is in that disciplic succession we talked about, pranipanastena. Then, we must inquire from him with a submissive and sincere heart, not a challenging attitude. That's pariprashnena. And finally, we have to render service, selaya. This powerful combination of humility, sincere questions, and service It creates the perfect fertile ground where the seed of knowledge can actually sprout and grow.
So why is this process so critical? Why can't we just read a book and figure it all out on our own? Well, it's because this transcendental knowledge isn't something we can get through mental gymnastics. It's a gift. It has to be received from someone who has directly perceived the absolute truth, a tattvadarshi. That literally means one who has seen the truth. They can then impart that same realization to a student who is worthy and receptive.
So what happens when we actually apply these EARS principles? What's the result? Well, Krishna makes these incredible promises. He says we will never again fall back into illusion. We'll start to see every living being, from the tiniest ant to the biggest elephant, as a spiritual soul, a part of him. With this knowledge as our boat, we can finally cross over this vast ocean of material suffering, and ultimately, we will attain a supreme, unshakable peace.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. Krishna talks about many kinds of sacrifice, but he says the highest of them all is cultivating knowledge. So for our study group, let's really reflect on this. How can we, in our own daily lives, apply this principle of yajna, or sacrifice, to make ourselves better, more worthy recipients of this incredible transcendental gift? Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.